5 years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey everybody, this is Alex. This is the Ramble. Go till midnight tonight, Eastern Daylight Time from New York City. Ladies and gentlemen, those pimples have lasted for weeks and weeks.
I know. I'm using new pimple stain.
Actually, the reason he's still got his pimple guard up there, which looks like he's just got a bad corona mask.
I was in a fiery Jeep accident with Leaf
Is
Gary.
because we do two of these at a time, and so they're, a week later he's going to look like he's still got the zits, but by now hopefully they've dried up.
Yeah.
Have some of them dried up already?
Oh yeah, they're dry. The juices have turned into scabs. So it's
Well, you kind of have a blurry picture. I mean, it's not the cleanest of pictures. So if you took them off, people probably wouldn't get vomitaceous.
I put Vaseline on the lens so I look like Gloria Henry.
Really? I have a thing that I can use on. I found that's really good. The reason I like Zoom is I have a thing about make my face look better or something. It's called something like that, and you just click on that, and your face looks better. Yeah, much better.
Oh, it's good. I'm like, God, there's a rosy, rosy red cherub face of mine.
It's not that it doesn't look like. Remember the old days? Remember when Lucy did her last TV show?
Oh God!
And they used to have this traveling mat across her face that blurred it out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She'd be smoking through her throat. Oh, Mr. Mooney, I want the job. She's a corpse already. Take her off the air. Even Desi Arnaz quit in 1960.
Desi Arnaz was the brightest guy in show business.
Oh,
he really was. He was the genius behind I Love Lucy. He was the genius. He invented everything that people started doing when they recorded shows for TV, about having a live studio audience and 3 film cameras and all of that. And he literally invented that. And he was a genius that way. And people forget, they go, he's just Desi, okay? He beat Lucy. Did he beat Lucy? I don't know. Was he considered
I
a
think they drank together, and then, he'd call her a dirty horse.
I would imagine she was a piece of shit to live with, to be honest with you.
They both drank.
But anyway, don't come down to the club.
You took my eye out. Hey, Fred, you want to get a shot in? That'd be a swell idea, Rick. Let me kick her in the face.
He's doing the entire I Love Lucy show.
The wife beating episode, the one they don't show that much.
Yeah.
But if you watch I Love Lucy, I still like it. I watch it early in the morning. They show it.
Yeah.
And they spared no expense on the sets. The sets were so real looking. If they had a scene like it's on the roof of the building, it looked like they were on the roof of a New York City building.
But he was the genius of that show. He was the one who came up with the format. He approved the scripts. I mean, he was the man. Now, what is his other great contribution to American culture? And I bet this one, I'll tell you, and you'll go, oh yeah. But what do you think was
his contribution?
Yeah,
Star Trek.
Bing, boy, you got it right on the head.
Cool, but I am not fool, Captain. I am very smart when it comes to these subjects.
You're absolutely right. He's the guy that approved and did Star Trek.
Right, it's a Desilu production.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be rejected everywhere else.
And I think it was a Desilu production until maybe the 3rd season. It became a Paramount because they sold Desilu to Paramount. That's how Paramount got it.
Sure. And I knew that. No, they were very open to different ideas, and that one really worked. So yeah.
And the Desilu lot. Was that the old RKO? I guess it was.
Yeah, they bought the RKO studios and they turned it into
and I think it was right next door to Paramount. So they just combined the 2 studios and off you go.
Hey, Spock, go next door. It seems my employment has moved down the block, Captain. We'll get our checks
when
from
you
there.
when you do that, your eyebrows do a Spock. It's interesting.
It almost looks like my ears are pointed.
Yeah.
I'm the
Gee,
boy with the rubber eyebrows. Boop, boop, boop,
I
boop,
think
boop.
what they did, I think if I remember correctly, what they did is they shaved part of his eyebrow
Yep.
off, and
Yep.
then they extended it, did the extension, the makeup extension on
Yeah.
it.
Yep. I remember he was on Art Linkletter once or one of those shows and explained it. And I go, whoa, it's Leonard Nimoy with round ears. This doesn't look right.
You know what always bothered me, okay, is I love the old Groucho in the movies where he
Yeah.
painted on the mustache.
Sure. Yeah.
And I mean, there was no pretense that that was a real mustache.
Sure.
It was just a.
Oh, you can see the light reflecting off it. It was great.
When he finally started to leave the Marx Brothers and do regular movies, he wore a regular mustache. He
Yeah.
grew himself a mustache. And there's something wrong about that.
Well,
you
I'm
know?
getting older now, so I might as well look a little the same.
It's a different Groucho.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the brothers many times on Broadway would play each other
Yeah. That's true.
because
That's
they look so much alike. And an example of that is in I forget which picture it is. Is it? It's either Night at the Opera or Duck Soup, where the mirror thing, where
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's two Harpos.
yeah, the two Harpos.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
It's Groucho and Harpo.
the two
yes.
Grouchos. Isn't
Yeah.
it two Grouchos? Yeah.
No.
No, yeah, it's Groucho comes around and
Groucho,
looks at the mirror at the hallway essentially, and Harpo is playing his mirror,
Yeah.
and he's got the mustache on too, and it looks just like Groucho.
Oh, yeah. They all. If you saw one pictures of them without makeup, it's like the same face, like 4 times.
Yeah, yeah.
They look like nice Jewish boys.
And we had the five Marx Brothers.
That's just Gummo, but
Gummo.
I didn't want to do this. I meant to be in the garment business. Leave me alone.
Actually, Gummo became an agent.
Oh, he became an agent?
Yeah, and later so did Zeppo. Zeppo.
Yeah, Zeppo married a lady named Barbara, who later dumped him.
Barbara
and married
Marx.
a friend named Frank Sinatra.
That's
So, yeah.
right. That's right.
Hey, dump that guy. He don't even like blow a horn or nothing. Come with me, baby.
Yeah, but she was a piece of work. I mean, in books that I've read, she almost didn't allow the kids to come to the funeral.
Oh, it can truly
She had him out on the roads. We're talking about Frank Sinatra, folks, who married Barbara Marx, who was Zeppo Marx's wife at one time.
Yeah.
And a lot of people to this day still call her Barbara Marx, not Barbara Sinatra.
Yeah, Barbara.
And she became very controlling, and she wanted him to make as much money as he could possibly make so she could inherit it.
Yeah.
So she would keep him on the road as many days a year as was humanly possible, and had him performing on stage almost up to the end. And I saw one of those performances in the big theater, the Circle Star Theater.
I'll start there.
Out in Burlingame. I don't know if it's still there, but it's in Burlingame. And I went to see Frank, and it was too late. He was now just powder up there on stage.
Oh, God.
Every now and then he'd hit one note that was right, and the light would hit him just right, and you saw Sinatra.
Yeah.
And then it was back to bumbling around. Frank Jr. was the band leader. I keep telling this story because it's still burned in my mind. He does one for my baby and one more for the road, and he's got a cigarette, and he puts it out on stage, throws it down on stage, and then stamps it out with his foot, but he misses it. And the stage at the Circle Star was a carpet.
Uh-oh.
And all of a sudden he goes into his next song, and smoke is coming up from the stage. And Frank Jr. yells over, "Dad, the stage is on fire." And Frank looks down and sees this smoldering flame kind of thing, so he then puts his foot on it and really puts it out. But I mean,
I want a contract on that flame, baby. Where am I?
And then he's singing, okay, as Sinatra was prone to do, and he's always looking at me, and I'm like in the third row, and he's looking at me. This comedian Dreesen,
Tom Dreesen.
Tom Dreesen,
Yeah.
was a guy who got
Open
me
for
the
Sinatra,
third
yeah.
row seats because he was
pretty
opening
nice.
for Sinatra, and he wanted me to come see Sinatra. And he said, I want you to meet Sinatra. But that night, Jilly had died, and he said he wasn't seeing anybody. So I never got to meet Frank. But anyway, he keeps looking at me while he's singing. I'm going, what's wrong with me? And then all of a sudden I realize he's reading a teleprompter.
Oh, no.
And I look at, there's a teleprompter over on each corner of this circle stage, right?
Yeah. Huge letters.
And I look at some of the other teleprompters, and he goes, she gets too hungry for dinner at 8, Jack. And on the teleprompter, it said Jack.
Oh, my God. He didn't know where to put his jacks.
He didn't know where to put his jacks anymore. And she was sending him out on the road because she wanted the money.
Oh, what a coot. Oh, my God.
Yeah, she was the biggest, one of the biggest gold diggers of all time.
Holy crap, man. I hate you, Barbara. I'm glad you're
But at that point, Frank was willing to take anybody. I mean, you know, Ava had Alzheimer's, so, you know, Barbara was available. She was the only cognizant woman he knew.
Hey, get me one of them groupies from AC/DC, baby. I hear they put out doo-be-doo. That's why the broad is a wall. Where am I?
What's the most horrible moment you know of Frank Sinatra, or
I
music-wise?
never met the guy, but I've seen a picture of him. There was something called the Wrong Door Raid in the 50s where Frank thought Marilyn Monroe was having an affair with somebody.
Yes.
So he got some guys to kick the door down, and there's a picture of him that he looks like he's about to beat the living crap out of the photographer. He looks so pissed off, and I wish there was a whole movie of it.
Yeah. Yeah. But
like
no, what I'm saying is the worst moment musically that I know of was the album where he tried to do things like Neil Diamond.
Oh, Lord.
You know, Sweet Caroline.
Ah, Sweet Caroline.
You know.
No. Well, he did something by the Beatles. I saw on tape that he introduced it as a song by John Lennon and Paul McCartney, and it's by George Harrison, of course, and he does the Jack. You stick around, Jack, and you will know. Oh, God, don't do it. Let's see the number 9 next. Number 9.
He did. The really bad one. I would love to play it, only I can't play music because I don't pay royalties.
No,
but just go listen to Frank Sinatra doing "Light My Fire."
Get out. He did Light My Fire?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
And at the very end, he goes, light my fire, light my fire, light my fire, light my fire.
Oh, he's doing the Jose
Light
Felice. Light my fire, light my fire. Light my fire. Then he goes, hey, you want me to show it to you, baby? Come on, I'll show it to you. Ooby-doo, Ray, play that organ.
Ooby-dooby-doo.
When the music's over, turn out those lights. We want the world and we want it right this second, baby.
He only had one number 1 hit in his entire career.
Oh, you froze on me there for a second.
He has only one hit, okay? One number 1 hit in his entire life.
Oh, Strangers in the Night.
Nope.
That wasn't it?
No.
Because that was big on the chart. I remember being like 10 years old and hearing it on the radio all the time. Strangers in the Night. Then it would have to be.
Because you're talking about number 1 and you're competing with rock and roll in that.
Yeah,
at that time.
The fabulous Piptias. Witchcraft, I take a guess. I don't know.
Something Stupid.
Oh, Nancy, sure.
Yeah.
I should have known.
Hit number 1.
That wasn't a bad. That was a cute song.
It was a cute song, but come on.
It wasn't Day Tripper, but
I mean, there are other songs which I would say I would like to see be number 1. Learning the Blues is a great song, and they were released as singles and they did chart, but they went to like number 2. And that was it. He never got a number 1 except for Something Stupid.
Hey, Frank wants you to have this. Make sure him and the daughter go number 1, okay? Otherwise, you like the way your knees bend, don't they? Yeah, sure.
Yeah. He had gangster friends.
He was covered. Frank was covered.
You know why he kept his gangster friends?
Because they were with him when his career was nowhere.
That's correct.
They played the TikTok room if you can't get no work.
They kept over that 2-year period where he had no career.
Yep, that's right.
They kept him alive.
That's right. They did.
Literally. So why shouldn't he appreciate them and be
They were
good to them?
friends. Friends of your friends. You know, you don't ask. I didn't ask them who they murdered today. I don't shake a guy's hand and ask him what he does. I hang out with my buddies. They supported me, babe.
It's
He
like
wanted to hang out with gangsters because he didn't know anybody anything. So, yeah.
I've known Hell's Angels, and people say, "How can you be friends with that guy?" And I go, "He doesn't kill anybody I know." You know, I mean, to me and my wife, he's a perfect gentleman. So why,
Yeah.
why can't I respond to that?
Hey, kill some schmo at Altamont. Who cares?
Who cares?
Yeah,
Yeah,
stop
that was
it.
Jagger's fault.
Yes.
Anyway,
Oh, Big's fault. I hate you, Big. I hate you.
we've run out of time
Again.
These are fun. I have fun with you. I have a lot of fun with you. Anyway, thank you very much, Stephen
Thank
Pearl,
you, sir.
ladies and gentlemen.
See you off next week.
But next time he's on the show, that will not be on, I'm sure.
That's right. No,
But we may have some very definitive scabs.
Scabs are okay. You know, if you connect them, they form a crankshaft. I just want you to know this.
Ladies and gentlemen, Stephen Pearl.
Thank you, Cleveland.
5 years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
And that was Stephen Pearl. We love Stephen. Oh, wait a minute. Let me turn on the lights. Boom. There I go. Now I look beautiful. Don't I? Oh, except for this. Wait a minute. Let me show you. See that? See that? Yeah. You know what that is? My wife beats me. Okay? She beats me. Beats me to the bathroom. Oh, I went and got some blood drawn yesterday, and look at that. Look at that. Now, they always told me, put your finger on here, and I did it yesterday, but then she put a bandage on it, and I didn't have time to get back to it and hold it down. You say, hold it for about 2 minutes, and you'll be okay. All right? Anyway, let me see here. I got a couple things I want to... You know what I haven't done in a while? Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Where is the coronavirus map? We like to, every now and then we like to go to the coronavirus map. We haven't done it in the last little while because, well, things have been better here, at least with us in New York City. Oh, I didn't even put on my shirt here. Oh boy, I'm a mess today. I took my neuropathy pill last night, and everything I do is wrong. I can't, I've got to stop taking that pill. It makes me look like Trump walking down a ramp. Let me see here. Where are we? Let me open this up so that we have the full page, and we will go and take a look at the screen, okay, which is our. Why is that there? That shouldn't be there. But wait a minute. Hold on a second. Display window. What? This doesn't make. Oh, I see what it is. Oh, I see. I can't do that. Okay, let me stop my thing for. Well, now that doesn't do it. Let me see here. Let me Let me go back to screen. Wow, I can't do it. Well, all right. I can't show you the map. You know why? Because I have a screen I use for a Zoom, and somehow when I go to my screens, it puts that one on there as well. And so I can't show you my big screen, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know why, but I can't. So to hell with it. Let me see here. I got to get this back to the way it was. Oh boy. Well, that's too bad. Let's see here. Let me go to Zoom here. There's some people waiting. And I should, where are we? Okay. Hold on. Got to do a few things here. I'm screwing up tonight. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Anyway, let me just start the okay. And computer audio, all that is going. And I can take this, I can put this over here. And I can do this over here so that I can see the video. Okay, let me put this on. I like this better because to begin with, I'm wearing a shirt that is not a good shirt, and it's kind of be nicer this way. Okay, all right. See, I should have done this before I went on the show. Okay. Okay, let me see here. Let me go to gallery view there, and we make a little transition. And there they are, ladies and gentlemen. That's 3 members of our citizen panel so far. Hello, Vernon Nunn. Can you hear me?
Howdy.
Okay, and hello, Tony.
Hi.
Hi. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there.
Yeah, I didn't get everything done right. Look at this shirt. I got that shirt like on TV. You ever see the ad about the guy who's on a date and he's got this collar that's bleh? That's me.
I'm in my undershirt mode. That's all I want to wear now.
Listen, I got to tell you, we are so lazy now with this COVID virus deal that the
I'm there,
other
Al.
day, about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I looked at Marjorie and I said, "Do you realize neither of us have put pants on all day?"
That's victory. I love it.
Yeah, I was in my underpants. She was in her
I have my
underpants.
pajamas on all day.
Yeah. Are you doing the
I'm
same?
like, wow.
Are you by the way, you're going to hear explosions outside because these idiots in this neighborhood are blowing off fireworks
Oh,
until
I hate
like
that
3
shit already.
o'clock in the morning, and I'm going, don't you care about the human race anyway? Hear that? Those
Yeah,
are like
they're going nuts for you already.
those are like M80s for crying out loud.
Yeah, I don't like the fireworks.
I'd like to go down there and just say, "Do you mind?"
You know how I never liked them as a kid because I was always afraid I would lose a finger.
You probably would.
Yeah.
Just put that away. Put that away. Okay, we'll get to your addle-pated president in a moment when you want to. Yes, Vernon, how are you?
I'm a little tired today. I was Habitat working today, so
Oh boy, good for you. Good for you. Doing good for our community. Were they all wearing masks?
well, there were only 2 of us working electrical today, and we did things together when we were close up. We had our masks on, but
Yeah.
a lot of times he was on one side of the house and I was on the other side of the house.
Well, then you don't need them.
Exactly.
Yeah, only when you're within 6 feet of each other. I would make it a little bigger than that, but that's the general rule. And that's the way to do it. I can't imagine. Was it hot out there today?
Wasn't bad
It wasn't
actually.
bad.
Here in Louisville, it was. I think the high was like 80 degrees,
Yeah.
but we had a little bit of a breeze, so we'd open all the windows in the house while we were working, and the breeze blowing through the house kept everything cool, calm, and collected.
Yeah. Nobody wants to wear masks in hot weather. Hello, Jeff. How are you? I don't even have to do anything. These people just pop into my life now. It's wonderful. It's terrific. By the way, if you want to know how to join these people, you can go to gabnet.net. Right in the center of the page, it says just click here to join us on Zoom, and it'll take you right here, and we'll have you on our screen. And you can go over to my Facebook page, Facebook.com/A Bennett, and that's going to take you over to. There's a thing up above that says, "Hey, click here," and you can go over, and that's another way to do it. And then if you're just watching us on YouTube, right there at the bottom, it says Zoom us during the showtime, and there's the Zoom address. How do you think, so far, how does everybody think this Zoom is working? Okay?
Works
I
great.
like it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I used the link. I used the link on YouTube to connect in, Alex. But I've noticed, I don't know if it's the version of Zoom that I have on my wife's tablet, but all I see, I don't see the gallery view unless I go over to YouTube on my phone, and then I can see the other people. But what I'm seeing right now is whoever's talking.
Isn't there
Up.
on your iPad, isn't there a gallery feature?
Well, it's not an iPad. It's a Samsung Galaxy what was it called? Tab A.
So is that a phone, or I know what that is. It's like a
No.
it's like a
It's like an iPad.
It's like
but
an iPad.
It's a 10-inch
well,
Android
you should
tablet.
up at the top see, isn't there something
Yeah.
that says like speaker view? It's a speaker view, probably, if you're not getting.
I've tried to do that. My wife has been using the Zoom to do some virtual meetings since she's not able to volunteer at a couple of museums that she would volunteer at, and I don't see anything. I see
Where it's the
participants. I see
speaker
more.
view, there may be a drop down that gives you gallery view.
Yeah, I don't have that on this one.
On my computer, it's in the upper right-hand corner.
Yeah, that's on that's probably on an Apple iPad. So.
No, it's pretty much the same everywhere. But there may be a way to do it.
The only thing mine says is leave in the upper right-hand corner. If I click on that, then I'll go bye-bye.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Mine says leave in the bottom right-hand corner. Maybe you should try going to the bottom and see if that's where your speaker view thing is.
Okay, well, down at the bottom, I've got where I can stop video, I can mute, and then participants. If I click on participants, it just gives me a list of all the participants.
No, this is all the way over to the other side.
But if I go to the dots that are down there in the corner, it says, well, let me scroll up. Nope, there's no scroll. It says chat. It says chat, raise hand, show my, oh, there we go. Show my video in gallery view.
There you go.
Yeah, but it's still doing the same thing.
Click
when you started talking, Alex, then your picture popped up. So.
Well, that's speaker view. Hit gallery view again.
Oh, that says hide my video in gallery view.
No.
That's what it says. Okay.
No, get that at Home Depot?
No, I bought it on Amazon, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'll blame it on Bezos.
Yeah, right. Anyway, hello everybody. How are you this evening? Are your lives going decently? How's everything where you live as far as the coronavirus is concerned? Because quite frankly, we have another mass epidemic going on.
Mm-hmm. Well, I heard a lady who is head of the hospitals at University of Alabama in Birmingham, and she said we are not in a second wave. We are still in the first wave.
Oh yeah, I agree with her. I mean, no, absolutely, I agree with her. That is absolutely the God's honest truth. But this is not the second wave. This is part of the first wave that we have just screwed up. You know. The
first
second
wave, second wave.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I mean, it's terrible what's going on. I mean, we have been in this country warning people, don't open up without some kind of scientific plan for doing so. And quite frankly, I think every state in the country should take the New York plan, because the New York plan has worked. Yes, Charlie.
Yeah, Texas today destroyed its previous record for number of new COVID cases. The previous record was 2,500. It was over 4,000 today.
Good job, Texas. Go,
yeah,
Texas.
We're coming for New York. We're coming for you.
We're number one. We're number one.
Do you know how many deaths we had yesterday? The day before yesterday?
400.
Huh?
400.
Try 24.
Yeah, we get nothing.
Oh, I was talking about the country.
24, and today it was 26, but you know that's all within a margin of error, and we are the lowest state in the country with the lowest amount of the infection rate. In other words, you don't want an infection rate of anything over 1. We're at a 0.77, which is, I think you'll agree, Brian, is pretty low, right?
Very low, very low.
And we are the lowest in the country. And we've done this because we've scientifically reopened rather than just, oh, the people are bothering us. They got to make their money. We got to get the economy rolling again, you know. And then you got this asshole Trump trumpeting the whole, oh, there's no coronavirus out there. Don't worry about it. But by the way, sign this piece of paper before you come into my my speech saying you won't sue me if you get coronavirus. Yes, Phil.
I heard that the jump in corona cases.
Oh, I know what you're going to say. Go ahead.
The jump in corona cases in Texas was due to 3 prisons.
According to the 3 prisons. Did you hear that, Charlie?
No, I hadn't heard that.
Well, I heard it.
Well, he lives in Texas. He would have heard it.
He lives in Texas, but Mike Pence said.
But yeah, you know what Mike Pence also said? The stupidest thing I've heard anybody say. The reason why we have
Democrats are trash.
The reason why we have more cases of coronavirus is because we're testing.
Well, that's
That's
true.
right. If we don't test, we wouldn't have those.
Yeah, if
cases.
we don't test, we wouldn't have any
What they
cases.
should do-
Wow, that's the way. I didn't realize the way to solve the coronavirus is not to test.
I got the way to solve your doubt about the coronavirus and testing. Only count deaths. If you don't, if you test more, you're going to find people that have the coronavirus that may be asymptomatic or.
You want me to prove you wrong on that, Phil?
Just
New
count
York City,
deaths.
New York State, rather, has done more testing, am I right, Brian, than any state in the union and perhaps any country in the world. Over
they
the
had the
last,
most.
month and a half, 2 months, something like that, we've done 3 million tests. And guess what? The more testing we do lately, and we're doing a lot of testing, 50,000 a day, and the number keeps going down. So that whole idea and that whole notion that if you don't test, you won't have high numbers is ridiculous. You just won't have the numbers that are you won't have the numbers that are realistic if you
You
don't
already
test.
had high numbers.
Yes, Charlie.
But we did have
The
a lot.
problem with not testing is you don't know who has the virus, so you don't know who to quarantine.
Right.
So the people with the virus are going out and infecting everybody else.
What we
If you
do,
test people,
Yeah.
you know they have the virus, you can quarantine them.
if you test positive, they then get a list of names of people you've been in touch with, and then they go out. That's what they do in this state, and they get a hold of those people and test them to see if they have it.
Contact tracing.
Huh? It's called
Contact
contact tracing. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, we've scientifically really done this right, but when you say that less testing means less numbers, it's wrong because we do the most testing and our numbers are going down.
Everybody's numbers are going down.
Not
Except
the
the
United
rioters.
No, wait a minute. What?
The rioters
States
aren't wearing
going
Wait a
masks.
minute. Wait a minute.
Not the United States.
What'd you say, Vernon?
Not the United States. If you look at the curve for Spain, for Italy, for some of these that had really high early peaks in the spring, their numbers are going down as we speak. The United States has plateaued, and they are not going down. If
Yeah.
anything, they are going up as a country.
But basically, it's plateaued, and it is at a higher level than it was before. So, and it's not going down. And Phil, your notion that it's just not out there and it's not killing people, it is, and it's getting worse in states like Texas and Florida. And it's saying that some of those states are misreporting their numbers so they don't look bad.
Because Pence told him to. Pence told him to.
If
Pence
you-
made sure he told all the governors to tell everybody that is because of more testing, extreme testing.
Yeah.
You can't fight the statistics of how many people died. And either they died or they didn't die.
Well,
So
you
if
look at the
amount of deaths,
there are
deaths
more
going
people.
down. It was 400 yesterday across the U.S.
Well, only 24 of those were in New York.
Right, because he killed the rest of them in the old age homes.
Yeah, right, sure. Yes, Charlie.
That lady that was fired in Florida because she wouldn't lie for the governor, she is reporting much higher death rates and everything in Florida. She's still reporting her own statistics. So it's not true. You can't hide the deaths. All you have to do is say they died from ingrown toenail instead of COVID.
I've been hearing that they have been attributing COVID to every kind of death. If you get hit by a car walking across the street,
No,
they
you're
tell
being
you
ridiculous.
it's
That's
COVID.
not true, Phil.
That is ridiculous.
$37,000 a COVID death.
George
What
Floyd
do you mean? Who
didn't die.
pays what? $7,000?
Yeah,
for
George
COVID?
Floyd.
37.
George Floyd didn't die of COVID, and he had it, right?
Yes, he did,
And he didn't die of COVID.
but he did have COVID, didn't he?
But he didn't die of COVID.
But he
That's not
wasn't-
death from COVID.
But
He
so
wasn't
that's
pronounced
COVID
dead
death.
because of
He
COVID.
He had COVID and he's dead. So
He
Minneapolis
is not
gonna
in
get
the Minnesota
$37,000.
COVID statistics.
Florida is going up, and Tulsa area is going up, and your
Yep.
buddy's having his Grand Poobah parade there. So
And what he wants to do is move out of that arena and go to a stadium because he wants 1 million people to see him speak.
A million.
You know,
people
I hope he
apply.
gets those 1 million people because it's really the Darwin effect here.
A million people.
Well,
have
you let me
applauded.
finish, Phil. This is the Darwin effect. And what's going to happen is he holds 1 million people in a stadium, and they're all going to be dead. And they won't be able to vote for him.
Florida will be wiped out.
They'll just vote by mail.
Yeah. Yes, Charlie.
Well, by Phil's logic, then the solution to the population problem, the overpopulation problem, is we just quit doing pregnancy tests. We just quit doing pregnancy tests, then
Nobody will get pregnant.
yeah.
Yeah. That's very good. That's very good, Charlie. I like that. Yeah. What?
That way you can hide those that are aborted.
Phil, what's with you? Do you always have to play this mantra?
Oh, because I think that your negative ideas against Trump. Look what he did today. I mean,
What he did today?
What did he do today?
What did he do today?
He took a poop.
He took a poop. Yeah.
He had he signed an order for police that they needed to be certified, that there was going to be a registry of police officers that have.
Our good friend Brian is nodding his head no.
Yeah, but he did not eliminate chokeholds. That was one of the biggest
he
things.
did.
He said choke. No.
He said it's not legal
unless
except for the
the
defense of your
policeman
life.
thinks, unless the policeman thinks that he's threatening the policeman's life, then he can
No,
use the
not threatening.
chokehold.
If he's fighting for his life. So it's not if he thinks, if he has to preserve his own life.
So
then
now
it's-
you have another subjective thing, and unless it's caught on video, they can tell anybody. They could have said to George Floyd, "I was fighting for my life. I had to put him in that chokehold, so he died."
That's not true.
That would have been true if
it's
it hadn't been
subjective.
for
It's
social
subjective.
media.
He's the president of
Police
Law
has
and
the
Order.
power just like they had it before.
How many here really are bothered when they hear that term law and order?
I'm not.
Of course you're not, Phil, and you didn't have to say that. We could assume that. Yes, Charlie, you feel you don't like. Why don't you like law and order, Charlie?
Well, the main reason I don't like it is because when Trump uses it, he means law and order for me. He doesn't mean law and order for him. He thinks he has the right to ignore any law that he wants to ignore.
Well, Phil's giving you a look like 10-pound look, as my father used to call it.
Well, that's what he thinks. He's
No,
Yeah, just-
he says that's not what it was.
Just put that away, Phil. Put that away.
It's personally
Believe
signed.
me, you don't have to hold up a picture to show your ignorance. All you have to
don't
do is
care,
open your
Phil.
mouth, okay?
No, we don't care. Do you understand? We don't care about your picture.
Well, it's kind of like, when some of these guys talk and they imitate other people. I'm Mr. Trump.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
Vernon.
Yeah.
$39.95
What
at the Trump store.
was
And
that?
that's a bargain.
Is that a book?
Yeah.
Is that a book?
No, it's a photo with, he says, Phil Meyer, thank you for your support. Together, we will keep America great. Best wishes. And it's got the Donald Trump signature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
And where did you get that?
From the Donald Trump store.
Oh, and he was there signing them? Phil
I'm
Meyer?
sure his computer was.
Oh, boy, Phil.
Insert name here.
As I say, you don't have to show us your ignorance. All you have to do
No,
is
it
open
just
your
said-
mouth. Just open your mouth and your ignorance comes flowing out.
It said, insert name here. Came back like this.
By the way, I think you can all hear each other pretty well when you're talking and someone else is talking.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I don't know if we need to raise our hand necessarily. You can just chime in.
Okay,
If
I'll
you-
chime in.
Okay.
What about the executive order? Did it say anything about limited immunity, Phil?
No, not to my knowledge.
Why not?
I don't know. I think he's going to let. I don't know why it talked.
You know what our senator from Kentucky said?
Oh,
He said
Rand
they
Paul?
said he said he's not going to consider the bill that the House of Representatives has passed because that's nationalizing all policing, and that's bullshit.
Well, that's what they want. I guess he's coming up with nationalized standards because he's the president and it's a national position.
He doesn't set standards. He doesn't set
Well, he
standards
just
for
did.
anything.
He
He
just
doesn't
did.
set standards. He set
Ernie.
he did an executive order, but this
Right.
should not be done at the executive order level. It should be done at the law level.
There's a lot of, well,
Congress passed
it's-
the law, and the
Congress-
president signs it.
Vernon, Congress could still pass a law.
Not with Mitch McConnell there.
Well,
Oh.
he's already set these standards by making an executive order. So therefore, and if
Executive
you would look
orders
at
are
what,
suggestions. They do not have the power of law.
well, he's using money to create these standards, training standards and certification. He's saying that departments will receive money if they meet these standards. If they don't, then they won't get the money.
Well, you know what Cory Booker said tonight, right?
No,
Cory
what-
Booker says he's 51 years old, and he said his entire life, every time we have an outbreak like a violence and things like that in the 60s, and then again when it happened again in the 80s, they have a commission, and the commission makes recommendations, and the recommendations go in the trash can.
Well,
Nothing
these-
happens,
These went into an executive order, and
and
he
nothing
had-
will happen
He
from it.
had both. What's his name? Van Jones. He even complimented Trump and said that he thought that this was a
Wow.
move in the right direction.
Wow.
And Van Jones is an Obama person.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, Van
I'm so
Jones.
impressed. I'm so impressed.
Well, hey, nothing would impress you.
Well, Cuomo,
About Trump, you're right.
Cuomo,
About Trump, you're right.
Right.
Cuomo here in New York signed executive orders regarding the police, and quite frankly, it was far more far-reaching than what the president did today. I mean, he's having each and every police force, wherever there's a police force, the people in that community have to go in and restructure what they want out of the police and all sit around and be cooperative with each other to figure that out and to come in with their grievances and what they think is wrong and what would make it right. I mean, and they have until April 1st to come up with a plan on how to restructure their police departments, and if they don't, they're not going to get state money.
Yeah, there was one other thing that Trump did today as part of that.
All
declaration.
Trump was trying to do was imitate Cuomo to
No,
a lesser
what he
extent.
did was he said that they should send.
He didn't say
social
anything. He
workers-
read it off a fucking teleprompter.
However he read it, it was pretty damn good.
Oh,
And-
yeah, I
and
heard it.
the
I had to.
program-
I heard it. I had to turn it off, Phil.
Painful to listen to sometimes.
No, I couldn't. I couldn't take it for more than about 5 minutes.
I can't stand the sound of his voice.
You know, I mean, let's for a moment, look at this and realize that, we have two converging situations here right now, and the two are not necessarily different from each other. We have the coronavirus, and we have the thing with the protesting in the streets and so on. And because of the two, they have kind of a convergence because of the possibility of spreading the virus and whatever through protests. Here in the state, Cuomo has prevailed upon the demonstrators to all go out and get tested, just to see where they stand after this, that they're doing it not, and he always puts it in the best of terms. He says, you're not doing it for yourself, you're doing it for the people around you. And I think that certainly makes a lot of sense.
Cuomo talks like a businessman all the time.
Mhm.
And that's what I was hoping for Trump at the beginning, was he would deal with these issues like that.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Taking all the letters in and getting consensus area by area to see how he should, police and stuff like that. It's really businesslike.
What I think is
That's why Trump's not a good businessman,
Well,
because
he-
he
no,
doesn't do that. Never has.
Here's another part of it. What Cuomo has done, if you listen to him speak, every time he is thanking the people of New York, saying the numbers are going down, you're saving lives. Thank you, New York. You don't ever hear Trump say, hey, you did this or you did that, the American people have done this or that, and then say, Thank you so much for doing that.
Last thing I heard out of Cuomo's mouth was he was berating the people of Hamptons and
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely,
Yeah.
Phil. Absolutely. They were
Yeah.
out there partying very close to each other, just violating all the rules of what we're trying to do
yeah.
here to save
That's what I'm saying, he's
lives.
thanking the people.
What do you? Wait a minute. Wait, Phil. You never listen to his whole speeches every day. We do, and I'll tell you, every day he says the people of New York have been incredible.
Yeah, like you listen to Trump's speeches, I listen to Cuomo's.
No, I'm saying that he
I
is always
can't
his whole
stomach him more than a few seconds.
because, and then you have no idea what he's saying or how he's saying it.
Yeah, well, I heard him.
No,
know?
you didn't.
Yeah, he says if you people don't lock down, and you violate this, I'm shutting it all
What
down.
he said was,
He's a Nazi.
if you have a bar and you're letting people get close to each other and you let them in and they're not wearing masks, we're going to pull your liquor license.
Did he open the bars yet?
Huh? Oh yeah.
Are the bars open?
Yes, they're open. They're open for being able to go in what is, I think, phase 2. There are 4 phases. Some of the state goes into phase 3 tomorrow, and phase 4 is almost a complete opening of everything. What?
California, I don't think we have bars or some restaurants in some counties.
But what's happening is they're supposed to, I think, serve booze, but you're supposed to. I don't know. You can't
Get your car and drive.
Drive through only booze.
There you go.
You don't drive, but if they're in the bar, they have to have separation and things like that. And he says there were bars that were open. I think it was that some bars were open and serving and letting crowds of people come in. And he said, if we find out who you are, and he said we've had 25,000 complaints so far, so we know who you are. You have a good chance, if you don't do something about that, of losing your liquor license because the state gives you your liquor license.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a her.
Okay? That's not being a Nazi. It's doing something to benefit the public and their health.
You know, you've got 3 people, I believe, that are running for mayor of New York.
I don't know who they are.
Well, de Blasio is the Democrat.
Where he's going.
I don't know who the Republican is. I think he's got an odd name like Jafuzzi or something.
When does de Blasio's term come up?
I think he's got 2 more years.
He's
now,
got
so-
2 more years.
No. It's coming up in a few months.
No, it isn't. No.
My
No.
brother worked.
And the third guy is a libertarian who 17 years ago hijacked a plane with a gun and was sentenced to a mental hospital. And
Second Amendment right.
yeah, what?
Yeah.
Plane with a gun?
Yeah.
Well, you're complaining about that, but don't you? If that is true, let's
Well-
see here. 2021, Phil, you're wrong.
2021's next year.
Yes, you said it's this year.
So they're going to vote this year in 2021.
Phil, they don't even have a nominee for the.
Isn't it November?
Next,
Not
next,
this November, next year. This is 2020.
The
Yeah,
rumor is
November 2020, and then they take office in 21.
No, that's a federal election. That's not a
The
state.
election
or city.
is in 2021.
All right, so next year.
Phil, why don't you just say I'm wrong?
No, there's a guy that
Why don't you
applied.
say I'm wrong?
and we live in New York.
So what? It's just 1 year.
We're close.
What do you mean? So what? It's 1 year. You said he was
Next
he's
year,
up for
instead of this-
re-election right now, and he's
you know,
not.
He's already half left.
You know, if somebody invented the cure for cancer and said it's the cure for a good cancer, you would say no, that's no good. You got to cure the bad cancer. I don't understand you sometimes. All I
What's
know
good-
is
what's
you
good
got
cancer?
3 idiots that are running. I don't know what the Republican is, and I don't know if he's some sort of advocate. But then De Blasio and this guy that,
Well, De Blasio's
that
gone.
hijacked
a plane and 17 years ago at gunpoint, and now he's running for mayor.
On what party?
And against De Blasio.
On
he's
what
probably got
party?
good
What
chance.
party?
Libertarian.
Oh, okay. Well, he's not a Democrat, so you can't blame that on the Democrats.
No. De Blasio's running.
No,
You
De
think he's
Blasio
gonna
is
get
done.
any
Look,
votes?
I don't love De Blasio. You don't have to put down De Blasio to me. I think
I'm
he's
just
I think
giving
he's a
you,
piece
you know,
of,
this
piece
is
of
what
crap.
you in New York have to deal with.
Well, no. I mean, I don't think he's been handling this thing that well. You know.
Well, he's done after this term, though, Alex. So this is his second term.
I
No,
think-
he's not
No,
done.
yes, he's done 2 terms. That's it.
Unless he's going to do a Bloomberg.
That's it.
Bloomberg runs-
Bloomberg got an exception.
How did he get that, Alex?
He got the
gets-
state. I think he got the state assembly or the state senate to give him an exception so he could run for a 3rd term. But no, it's only 2 terms. I think the governorship is 3 terms. However.
Oh, it is 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's only 2 in Kentucky.
Yeah, and this is the last term for Mario
They
Cuomo.
count that high in Kentucky?
Yeah. Let me count up. Let me take my shoes off. And I count on my toes.
Are you wearing shoes? Are you sure you're from Kentucky?
Well, they're flip flops, you know.
All right.
What can I say? You know, Nike flip flops.
Yeah, it's
Nike just gave $40 million to Black Lives Matter.
what's this? Who?
Nike gave $40 million to Black Lives Matter.
Good for
and
them.
Adidas, or the other way around.
Is
maybe
this
it
a
was
bad
Adidas.
thing? Is this a bad thing, Phil?
Nike gave 20.
Is this a bad thing?
No, because if you find out where that money goes to, it's actually going to the DNC. And it's going to Democratic.
And where did you hear that?
That's
Of course, you know where I heard it.
You heard it,
gotta
what?
give them
Newsmax or Fox or
Fox, yeah.
and you don't call them fake news. I'm amazed you don't
No,
call
not
them fake news.
They're routing out all the BS that goes on.
By
And
the way,
it's
let me
fun.
take something up here for a second. Kathleen wrote.
Oh, yeah.
She says, "I love you, Alex, but fuck Zoom. I
Well,
would
she wants
love to be
thank
on
you.
your show, but not on Zoom."
What does she have
Well,
against Zoom?
let me say this, Kathleen.
got
if,
against Zoom?
if you're listening, if you just try it, you would see how easier and better it is to use than Skype.
Just tell her to call in on
And,
Skype.
You know, I don't know what's the problem. It's not owned by Amazon. It's not owned by Microsoft. It's not owned by Apple. You know, Skype is owned by Microsoft.
It's
she
not owned by
doesn't wanna-
Costco.
Huh?
If she doesn't want to call using Zoom, tell her to call using Skype.
Yeah, but I won't be answering. You know, I mean.
But it'll make her happy.
I'll tell you a couple of things I like about Zoom and doing this. These people can hear each other when one is talking, another starts talking. They can hear each other. It isn't like the audio mutes itself a little bit or tones itself down so that Phil, when he starts talking, doesn't know when somebody else wants to say something. Here we can have kind of that discussion that people have with each other like they're sitting around a dinner table and arguing with each other. Like my grandpa and my grandfolks did. Oh, I'm doing Jack Bishop in his promo. I'm sorry.
Hey, the problem with this is now I got no excuse for talking over you.
Yeah, you have no use for being rude. The thing that bothers me, I'll tell you something. And de Blasio mentioned this yesterday when I came home after getting my arm trashed. Okay, getting a PSA test, and I came back, and I was out walking. I walked around 7 blocks to the clinic, and then 7 blocks back to the lab. And as I went, I saw people without masks, and when I saw them, I was really pissed off. Because my attitude was, you know, here I am, 80 years old. I'm in that category of people who have God's finger pointed at my head saying, take care of yourself. This thing could get you. This thing could kill you. And they're not wearing masks. They have no respect for me. Okay? And then I went home, and Cuomo said the same thing. He said, he says, I talk to people who get very mad at people who aren't wearing masks because they feel that they're not respecting them. And that's exactly how I felt.
I go into people's homes, I'm wearing a mask.
Yeah.
People come into my store, I'm wearing a mask. If they come into my store, they wear a mask. But if I go into their home, I would say 9 out of 10 aren't wearing masks.
I'll tell you, the super came over yesterday because we got a leak in our washer, and came over yesterday, and he was wearing a mask, and we had our masks on, because and he's probably just safe and fine, and there's no problem or whatever. But we just do it out of respect for each other.
How'd you know he was really your super? Could you see his face?
Yes, I could. Yeah.
Trump's thingy today, none of them had masks on.
What?
The big social thing outside. Trump's thing, they had the big social thing outside, nobody wearing masks at all.
Nobody. Like there weren't people at the White House who had coronavirus.
Yeah.
And then you've got our super in chief, or whatever his title is, our commander in chief. Well, that's funny to say. The commander in chief, not doing the mask and saying, well, I took my hydroxychloroquine. Did you see what the World Health Organization did about that, saying they banned it from use?
Off of the emergency use only, like our stuff is right now.
They're mad because he cut off their money because they're a scam organization.
No, actually, Phil, there's every reason to believe that Trump has money invested in hydrochloroquine.
He took 2 weeks worth of it.
Yes, as an ad for hydrochloroquine.
He says he doesn't know if it made a difference.
He said.
Yeah, he said he didn't know if it made a difference.
He said he took it.
He took it. I don't think he took it.
When it takes him two hands to drink and water, it looks like he's on the edge, right? He could be in that category of not.
Yeah, that was let's get to that. Let's get to that for a second. We have a president here who, over the weekend, went to West Point to speak before the graduating class. In spite of the fact that they didn't want to come back to do it because they didn't want to take their life in their hands, but they did it, and they had to be quarantined at West Point for 2 weeks before the graduation, and a handful of them actually came down with COVID. Okay, so anyway, he goes and gives this speech anyway because he's got to give his speech at West Point rather than care and have respect for these graduating soldiers. To not, they could have done it virtually. They could have done it in any number of ways that were safe. No, he wanted them all there so they could be there with him so he could have his big day giving a speech from a teleprompter where he couldn't even pronounce the words. And as he's leaving the podium, they lead him down the ramp off of the stage. And I don't know if you saw what I saw, but I saw somebody who was having a hard time walking down that ramp.
He's got something.
He didn't want to fall. The photo.
It was slippery. He claimed it was slippery.
It was slippery. How is it slippery, Phil?
What do you mean? How was it slippery?
I think it was
Sunny day.
Yeah.
It's a ramp. It's at an angle. When you're over a
very shallow angle,
you're not as stable as you are when you're a young whippersnapper.
Well, that's what we're saying, and that's exactly what it looked like.
He's an old fart.
He's 74 over the weekend.
I could walk down that ramp.
That's 2 years younger than me, Phil, and I could have walked down that ramp.
Oh, you're a tough guy.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
If
you fell,
did you see him
drink? Would not be.
Did you see him drink water, Phil?
I'm making America great again by building houses for people who can't afford houses.
Here, let me I need some coffee right now.
I do it the same way.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
He does it with bottles of water. Yeah.
Well, if he dropped it, people, they would be no end to the pictures. He's just not giving you guys a photo
but he doesn't look at the bottom of the shoe to see if there's some toilet paper on the bottom of it when he's walking up the ramp to Air Force One, and he doesn't want to be made a fool of.
That's a good one.
The man is so vain. Jeff, you haven't said anything tonight. Say something.
Say something. I'll say something. Well, first of all, my system is working now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I wish Trump would leave. That's all.
Hey, the statues that they're trying to tear down, Jeff. Because they're Civil War statues or they're slavery
Yes.
or Columbus, and
Yeah.
and of course even the Indians have been taking down the statue of some Spanish guy.
No, it's Mexicans because he slaughtered Mexicans.
Oh well. Anyway,
I think that's a good
Yale
reason to tear it
University-
down, don't you, Phil?
Yeah, Yale University.
Oh, there you go again.
Was originally University of Connecticut or something like that, a Commonwealth. Then this guy who owned the East India Trading Company, his name was Yale, donated a whole bunch of money to the university, and they named it after him. But he was a slave trader. So are they going to change the name of Yale University?
Well, they just might.
They might.
They
I
just
don't know.
might, Phil. I mean,
Might call it Harvard
here's what's
instead.
happened, Phil. We've had a society for the last 300 years that's been white dominated. And even in the last 100 years, all the history and all of that has been a white history. And we didn't pay attention to any of those things. And now we're being made to pay attention to them. And wait, let me finish, Phil. And I, when I went to school, I was taught white history. But I can only imagine what it's like to be an Indian child going to school, a Native American going to school, and having the teacher say, as they did in my class, who was the first person to discover America?
Christopher Columbus.
And for him, Christopher Columbus, and for him,
Leif Erikson.
for him to say to himself, or Leif Erikson, both white, for this kid to say to himself, well, how could they discover a place where there were already people there?
Didn't they teach you?
But no, we on the test it says who discovered America, and if you didn't put down Christopher Columbus, or if you put down Leif Erikson, they might say, "Nice thinking, kid."
Oh.
But if you didn't give them that answer, you can't possibly discover a place that already has people in it.
So if you're an astronaut and you go and discover a unknown planet, and that planet happens to have some people on it, that doesn't mean you didn't discover it?
No, you didn't discover it. You found it. You found it, but you didn't discover it. You found it.
Here's
Phil.
what they're doing. Here's what they're doing to the statues now.
Oh my God!
What is that? Put it closer.
It's one of those things they blow air through, and you go in and get your oil.
Oh, it's one.
Yeah, that's a Photoshop, but it's a great idea though.
Yeah.
My friend sent me a picture. It said Trump needs to wear a mask, he was told, and this is a picture of Trump wearing a mask. So can you see he's wearing?
Yeah. Oh, there.
Yeah.
Oh, look at her. Oh, that's a cool mask. Who made that? Can you buy those?
Can you imagine Halloween?
Her mask. Can you buy those? Oh, don't take off your mask. Your daddy might have the coronavirus.
He's been doing tests.
Yeah.
He probably is.
God, she's don't tell her this because I'll spoil her. She's adorable. She is absolutely adorable.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If I could have a kid like that, I would have had them. Okay, What's her name? Oh, I can't hear you.
Oh,
Your mic is-
Adrian.
Adrian.
Yeah.
Oh, she's back.
Hi, Adrian. How are you?
Yo, Adrian.
Now she's shy. Okay. Bye. Okay, bye.
It's okay. You
Bye-bye.
leave Brian. Leave her behind.
Okay.
They removed the Rocky statue in Philadelphia a couple of months ago.
Don't say that.
No, they did. They moved it. I don't know why, but they moved it. Do you think that they knew that these things were going to happen?
No, because I don't think they'd have anything to say about Rocky. But I think that the feeling was that it was not really the kind of statue you put up. I think they took it and put it in a museum somewhere.
Yeah.
Where a lot of these statues should go. I mean, Jefferson Davis, you want to have a statue of him? Great, put it in a museum.
Yeah.
They're
Confederate
taking down the
War Memorial.
statue of Jefferson Davis in our state capitol.
Really?
Yep.
Well, see, are they going to put it in a museum?
I don't know where they're going to put it, and I don't really care.
Yeah.
The man was a traitor.
Well, I think Charlie told us the other day. You're right. He was a traitor. Charlie told us the other day that most of these statues were put up in the 20th century. You know, they weren't put up right after the Civil War.
During Jim Crow.
Yeah.
Are the people that took over the 6 blocks of Seattle, are they traitors?
No,
and are they?
No.
You know,
why are they traitors? How are they traitors?
Because they subverted that area by they went in there and
they live in the area, Phil.
No, they don't. They forced
they
the
do.
police out of there. They took over the building. They walled off the area. There's some warlord guy that says he's the head of the thing, and they're not letting people in or out, especially police, in that area. Now, that means that the people that are merchants that live there, their area has been taken over, and they say it's a new nation. They said it's a new nation. So the
autonomous zone.
Yeah,
it's an autonomous zone.
It's an autonomous zone, Phil, not a new nation.
No, they said it's a nation.
No,
now.
it's
They
a new.
changed it to COP.
No.
Only on Newsmax do they say that, Phil.
But no, I saw the sign. They changed it to CHOP. And
CHOP, yeah. It's
Capitol Hill autonomous
zone.
Yeah.
And then the mayor, who's doing nothing, she negotiated for them to go from 6 or 7 blocks down to 3.
What should she do? Send in the tanks, Phil?
No, fire hoses.
I mean, that's what Trump would do.
Yeah.
Trump's letting them step in their own pee-pee.
But I think she's a Democrat, so she's not like all the Republican governors who go, "What would Trump do?"
Yeah.
Didn't he threaten
the
already?
Republican governors don't have these problems. In Nashville, when they said they were going to take over and do the same thing, the Republican governor said, that ain't going to happen, and it hasn't. Right? Tennessee. That's got a Republican governor.
What about the Republican governor in Georgia? Did he think that was a bad thing that Rayshard Brooks got shot in the back twice?
Well, we know that the guy
He hasn't said shit,
fired.
Phil. He hasn't said shit.
Yes, he
has. The governor of Georgia has not said.
I don't think so, because they're giving this guy some due process, which is something that the Democrats never give anybody but themselves.
Oh, I know, because they're communists, right?
Yes.
In your opinion. Opinion.
And don't respect the Constitution.
Oh, wait a minute. Time out.
Who
doesn't respect the Constitution? It's called your buddy Trump.
Yeah, well, what did Wendy's do to deserve to get burned down?
They've got insurance.
Have you tasted their hamburgers?
So it raises my insurance because a bunch
doesn't.
A bunch of
unless
people
you go to
burn
Wendy's.
down. They're mad. Hey, if I was mad, I can go burn stuff down, huh? That's good enough.
The cop was mad. The cop was mad because the guy took his taser. You were a police or in the police.
The cop got fired, and the cop's probably going to get prosecuted.
Oh, they said that there's the body cam that you hear him make a comment when he grabbed his taser, and then when he shot him. And it sounds like
oh shit, he's got my taser. But
so
I
what
heard
about
the body cam? But
Phil, you know, being in the police and us from civilians seeing it on TV and movies, when cops get something like a car stolen from them, or their gun or badge or whatever taken from them,
embarrassing.
As a taser would, those cops would be teased on end.
Well, and
when that cop got mad, he got even.
You don't kill somebody over them stealing your taser, and the guy missed. He was also patted down. This guy's going to go to jail.
He was also drunk, Phil.
No different. That doesn't matter. It's the cop.
And they knew he was. They knew who he was and everything. Phil, is really bad, man. You can't two times in the back for taking the taser.
Brian, the cop was wrong. The cop is going to get prosecuted if he doesn't.
Yet they don't have a culture
first or go to Mexico. He's going to jail.
And yet we don't have a racial structure in this country.
I don't think it was a race thing. The guy fought him.
We don't have a bad culture then. Let's put it in terms of police culture. Now, we as a society have to take some responsibility for the fact that we have put all this responsibility on police to handle things that they were never intended to handle. Okay?
Well,
Homelessness. Homelessness.
Trump is saying that he's going to send social workers as a second line of defense to possibly to respond with police.
When's he going to fund it?
He says he'll fund it no matter what it costs.
Oh, bullshit.
That's exactly what he said.
Yeah, come back
Well,
in.
that's what he said.
Well,
Come
I'd
back
say,
in
I'd
about
say
a year.
come back
Yeah.
in a year and tell us what he did. But unfortunately, I don't think he's going to have a chance to do it.
Nah, he'll have a chance. 4 more years.
Nope.
Not at the rate he's going. Not by the polls that everybody's seeing. And there, I saw one poll that had a lead. Biden had a lead by about 8 points,
Yeah.
I don't look at national
and
polls.
it was a right-wing poll.
Yeah.
I don't look at national polls.
Trump doesn't poll well, but Biden reminds me of what you were describing before in your monologue. Biden is the new Sinatra. You know, he doesn't know where he is. He's just up on stage because he needs the money.
How about Trump?
Huh? No.
By the way, Biden isn't addle-pated. I've got to tell you, I watch him and I'm amazed at how sharp he is actually for a guy his age. Because I'm not that sharp. Okay,
he's not sharp at all. I tell you, I watch his things and
because you watch it through a skewed eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it. I see him for what he really is.
And you don't see the same thing in Trump.
No.
You don't see an addled person. You
No,
don't
I
see
see
somebody have to
something-
take 2 hands to drink water.
I see someone that's very sharp, and if I was up in front of 1,000 people, I think I'd use 2 hands too, because the last thing I'd want to do is drop the damn thing. And
He did one of the times when he did this thing with a cup. It was at a table at a meeting.
Well,
it
that's
had
the way he
nothing to
drinks.
do with the public showing or
That's
whatever.
the way he drinks. What can I tell you? He's from Queens.
Really? Okay. Well,
Tony probably does the same thing.
I'm from Queens.
Yeah,
I heard
see?
he didn't
Watch
drink at
this.
all.
One glass.
That's because you're from
One
Connecticut.
hand.
Connecticut.
You think he had a stroke, maybe?
Watch this. I can use my right hand and my left hand.
Yeah, somebody here, American Patriot, said Rubio drank water the same way. And you remember what he said about Rubio drinking water at one of his rallies.
Yeah.
So,
Well, maybe he's imitating Rubio, because imitation is the best form of flattery.
there are a lot of Republican senators starting to turn on Trump, and there are a lot. Of course, the military has been turning on him terribly. How many people more are going to have to turn against Trump before you say, something, they're kind of right?
The only person that would
Never
have
happened.
to turn against him for me
Never happened.
for me not to support him would be me, and I'm not turning against
I think
him.
a couple of more weeks of these hormones, and I think you're going to be our bitch. Okay.
That's it.
You're going to start crying like a baby when I say Trump sucks. You go, no, he doesn't. He's good. He's good.
I've got my first side effect.
What?
I'm peeing about 15 times a day.
Yeah, well, that's the radiation.
Yeah.
You had that problem, right, Vernon?
Nope.
You had no peeing problems at all from the radiation?
Nope.
Oh.
Because I had a slight peeing problem from the radiation, but not as much as when they put in the seeds. Okay.
Yeah.
Then to this day, I'm still dealing with it. It's getting better and better every day, but
Oh, I asked them today what
In
kind
case
of
people
machine-
don't know, Vernon and I both, and Phil, half this panel has had prostate cancer.
Yeah, it's something about the show. It's contagious.
One of the most treatable
It's in the
of
water.
cancers.
Yeah.
One of the most treatable of cancers. Vernon had it, how many years ago, Vernon?
8.
8 years ago, and he's fine. My doctor says I'm going to die of something else. And Phil...
Gabnetitis.
Yeah, Phil's the only one with, I think, a serious case.
I'm not. I don't know. It just some stuff came back, and so they're treating it. But the machine I'm on is called a linear accelerator, Now, I saw a linear accelerator in Palo Alto.
No, it's not the same
30
kind of
years ago,
linear
40 years ago.
accelerator.
That was a mile-long building. It's the longest building in the
Up
world.
280. Yeah, up
Yeah,
280.
yeah.
I think the thing about the radiation that I did, which was the 5 days cyberknife type thing, it's not. This wasn't the cyberknife
Stereotatic
because
something.
cyberknife is a brand name. It's called stereotatic, and my doctor feels their version of it at Mount Sinai is better than the cyberknife. And
Kaiser's giving me the Ginsu knife.
Yeah, the Ginsu cyberknife. It's worked pretty good for people. It's worked pretty good for people. And they said, but what happened was, what I was going to say is, I did 5 of these treatments, and I'm finished with them, and I'm going, what did they do to me? I laid there, and this thing was, meep, 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 and then I leave,
Yeah.
Did you have to drink water every day, Vernon?
Did I have to?
Yeah.
Yeah, when they gave you the
When they
radiation.
gave you the radiation. Because
You
they
know,
made
fill up your
they made me
bladder?
drink 5 glasses of water. That was the hardest part.
No, the treatment that I had, they had this little balloon that they would put up your rectum and expand it.
Oh, okay.
So that, the radiation wouldn't have a negative impact.
What they're doing now is they have this thing called a spacer, and they put it in there, and it's a gel, and it separates the rectum from the prostate, so the rectum won't get radiated. Excuse me, folks. We're just having a little cancer discussion here. And then after about 3 months, it just dissolves and goes out with your pee. So that's kind of been the improvement they've come up with now.
But Kaiser, they use a paper clip.
Yeah. Kaiser, yeah. Doctor-assisted suicide. That's what Kaiser is.
Now, this morning, I failed the water test. I get on the thing. I'm all ready. I drank my 32 ounces on the drive down, but I drank it sort of a little bit later than I normally do.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, well, you must have been dehydrated. So they get me on, they do the CT thing, and they said, you don't have enough water in your bladder. So get off the table. We're going to put somebody else on the table. You go into this room. Here's some more water. Drink it. So they gave me another 32 ounces. So this morning I had 64 ounces of water. And
this is interesting.
Yeah, well, it's
gotten down to a discussion, ladies and gentlemen, on this program of how much water I drank today.
Yeah.
I'm having more fun watching Tony get the fly in this room.
Yeah, I got a fly in there. I hit him with my right.
Yeah.
Sorry, Phil. More exciting over there.
Somehow this Zoom is just more fun. I don't know why.
Easier.
The windows open in the bedroom.
The window's open.
The cadaver will attract
now,
flies.
folks, while you're here, take a look at that wallpaper in Tony's house.
It's not as clear as it usually is.
If I had to recreate the Psycho house in a movie, I would just shoot it right there.
I gotta
Hey, Tony, your fly left and he's over at my house now.
I hit him, but I don't know where he is.
By the way, our mouse has been.
Close your fly.
We have a mouse or mice. I don't know. And they found this thing where Marjorie keeps her bag of chips. Okay.
No.
Oh,
And they just a little hole in it,
yeah.
And then she looked at, and there was like mouse shit everywhere.
Yeah.
Can't you borrow your friend's cat again?
So this cat would just sit there and go,
Really? Just borrow one.
So there's all this crap down there. So now we're leaving the decon mouse proof pellets there, and we've got a mouse trap in there. And this morning she goes in there, and there are more mouse turds. Now there are no more. There's nothing in there for them to get to. Okay, I don't know why they're going in there still.
Alex,
What?
You're killing the poor little mouse.
Well, listen, it's the only thing in our house that comes close to being a pet. Okay, so
They just like you. That's all.
They just
They like
like me?
living with you.
yeah, they like me. But
Maybe it's the coffee.
it could be, but there's very little for them to get otherwise. But they like to go for crackers and chips and things like that. So we put
Got to
them.
get Tupperware. But I know if you got Tupperware, that would be supporting Betty DeVos, and if you supported Betty DeVos, you wouldn't be happy.
Well, we do have stuff we could put it in, but this is big bags of stuff that she buys. She bought 6 bags of this. She
You know
loves
how
it
you
so
get
much.
6 bags of chips into a small bag thing of Tupperware? Just
Crush
break
it.
them first.
Crunch 'em, yeah, turn them to chip meal. But no, so the mouse loves this stuff and is eating it up like crazy, and I don't understand it, to be honest with you. But anyway, I don't know if it's one mouse or whether it's several mice, but we're hoping that they eat some of these decon things. And there's another place they leave some poop up on a counter, up on a little table that we have by the oven. And so I put one of those decon things there, and hopefully they will nibble at them.
Have you seen these mice?
No,
It could be a rat.
No. I saw a mouse in the house.
Yeah.
You louse. Don't grouse about the mouse. No, I saw a mouse in our bedroom. He ran out. That happened twice. And then we found a mouse dead in one of the traps we had. And then I haven't seen him. I haven't seen a mouse since then. But they do leave their turds behind. So
You know what happens when you give a mouse a cookie, though, right?
Yeah, and then it wants a napkin. And
then it wants a glass of milk.
A glass of milk. Okay.
I had to read that stuff to my kids.
Uh,
When they were little.
Yeah, but it's so that's our latest adventure is with the mice or mouse. I don't know.
Oh, somebody mentioned
But
coffee.
they're not
Are you
rats.
still drinking?
They're not rats.
Are you? Yeah. Are you still drinking that strong coffee that you buy?
Yeah, in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still strong and not.
Well, it doesn't. Nothing wakes me up. But it's called Wake the Hell Up.
Yeah.
Is the name of the coffee, and it's got a thing called Jamaican Me Crazy, which is certain spices that are put into the coffee, and it has a really nice taste. Really nice taste. I really love it. I enjoy it. I have a good time with it. So, but it doesn't wake me up. I got to stop taking my neuropathy pills because they knock me out, and then they make me loopy all day, and then I can't do things physically right, and but so I am going to take the Xanax tonight, and that's the nasty pill. I get nasty all day, and girlfriend doesn't like it, so
Take a half.
she says, have you taken your nasty pill today, huh? You taking your nasty pill? I go, no, I took the nice pill. I'm being nasty because you're being, well, anyway. So, yeah. It's
Made a living on being
it's
nasty.
almost 4 months. We have not left this apartment with each other. She goes out and walks with her girlfriend every day. Okay. But outside of that, but I'm still here, And by the time she gets back,
Well,
anyway,
you made the 7-block walk today, you said?
yesterday. Well, 14 blocks if you count both ways.
Yeah.
But the only problem is it is a little harder with a mask because you breathe a little heavier. It's harder to breathe. But anyway, hey, there's our theme song. You know something? This Zoom, Kathleen, you really got to try it. You got to come on the show using the Zoom. It's so easy. You just click on that thing, and it says, brings you right here. And it's so much better because when I talk and somebody else wants to talk, they can talk over me and they still hear me talking, and so it becomes more of a conversation in the group. I think it's easier. Don't you all feel it's easier for each of you?
Really?
I think it's wonderful.
Can you bring in Skype on a different channel and plug it into one of the squares?
No way. No way. Oh, well, maybe, actually, no, I couldn't.
Miss you, Kathleen.
I can't. But we miss you, and we would like you to call. Okay. Anyway, hey, listen, that's it. That's our show for tonight. Thank you very much, Vernon. Great hearing from you, and thank you, Tony, and thank you, Charlie Wallace, and thanks to Phil Meyer, and thanks to Jeff Stein, and thanks to Brian Neary. And if you'll give them all a big wave goodbye, I'll give you a wave goodbye back at you. Okay. That's our citizen panel for tonight, folks. Let me hang up on them here. Okay, end meeting for all. They're gone. But you stick around because Jack Bishop is next over most of this same Gabnet to do his little program called The Intersection. It's live next. You can call him just like you call this show, except not using Zoom, using Skype instead. In the meantime, I'll be back again tomorrow night, 10:30 Eastern Daylight Time. Same time, same station in life. And in the meantime, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Be safe. Wear a mask, damn it.